One minute he wants you badly. The next minute he feels completely distant. He texts non-stop for days, then suddenly disappears without warning. And the worst part is, you start blaming yourself for it. But here's what most people never understand. Hot and cold behavior is never random. It usually reveals something deeper happening inside him, something he may not even fully understand himself. Sometimes he pulls close because he craves connection, then backs away because intimacy scares him. Pay attention to this. Attraction and emotional readiness are not the same thing. A man can deeply want you and still feel terrified of emotional attachment. So he moves toward you emotionally, then suddenly runs from the feelings he created. It's like getting too close to a fire. He wants warmth, but fears getting burned. This is where it gets interesting. Sometimes the hot and cold behavior isn't fear. Sometimes it's emotional confusion. Especially if he doesn't understand his own emotions. He may enjoy your attention one day, then feel overwhelmed by expectations the next. So, instead of communicating clearly, he creates distance. And suddenly, you're left wondering, did I do something wrong? But here's the truth. Consistency reveals emotional maturity. Anybody can act interested for a few days. Real intention shows up through stability. Think about this carefully. People make time for what emotionally matters to them. If someone constantly disappears, they are showing emotional inconsistency. And inconsistency creates anxiety, especially when you truly care. You start checking your phone constantly, rereading old messages for hidden meaning. One warm text from him suddenly feels addictive because your brain starts chasing emotional relief. This is actually psychological. Unpredictable attention creates emotional attachment faster. It's called intermittent reinforcement, the same pattern that keeps people emotionally hooked. One day he gives affection, the next day he becomes emotionally unavailable, and your mind keeps waiting for the good version of him, even when the bad moments hurt you. Pay attention to this part. Hot and cold behavior can slowly damage your self-worth, because eventually, you stop asking if he's treating you right, and start asking how to make him stay. That shift changes everything. Healthy connection should not feel like emotional survival. You shouldn't have to earn basic consistency. But here's another layer people ignore. Some men go hot and cold because they enjoy control. They know distance increases your attention, and attention feeds their ego. So they pull away intentionally, just to feel pursued again. Then, once they feel secure in your attention, they become warm again. This creates emotional confusion inside you, because the affection feels real when it happens. And honestly, sometimes it is real. But real feelings do not excuse unhealthy patterns. This is where many people get trapped. They confuse emotional intensity with emotional safety. Intensity feels exciting, but stability is what creates peace. Think about the healthiest relationships you've seen. They usually feel calm, not chaotic. You don't spend every day decoding mixed signals. You feel emotionally secure. But here's the hard truth. Sometimes you keep accepting hot and cold behavior because of potential. You focus on who he could become instead of who he consistently is. And potential can be dangerous because it keeps you emotionally invested in hope. Meanwhile, reality keeps hurting you repeatedly and slowly draining your confidence. Pay attention to this carefully. Someone who truly values you will not enjoy confusing you. They may be imperfect, but they will try to create clarity. They won't constantly leave you emotionally guessing or disappearing every time feelings become real. Communication matters. Effort matters even more. Because words can sound beautiful, but consistent actions reveal true intention. So what should you actually do? Stop chasing emotional breadcrumbs. Stop over-explaining your worth to someone inconsistent, and start observing behavior instead of promises. If someone repeatedly goes hot and cold, believe the pattern, because patterns always tell the truth, eventually, even when emotions try to hide it. This doesn't mean he's evil. Sometimes people are simply emotionally unavailable. Sometimes they are wounded. Sometimes they don't know how to love properly. But understanding someone's pain does not mean sacrificing your peace. That part is important. Very important. Love should not constantly leave you anxious, wondering where you stand every week. Real connection creates emotional safety, not emotional confusion. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is stop chasing someone who keeps running. Because the right person won't make consistency feel impossible. They won't make affection feel temporary. They'll show up clearly, even when life gets difficult. So if he keeps going hot and cold, stop asking what's wrong with you. Start asking whether this connection is emotionally healthy. That question changes everything. And remember this: love should feel honest, not confusing. If this video spoke to something you've experienced, subscribe for more psychology and relationship insights. Because sometimes understanding human behavior is the first step toward protecting your heart.